The moment the news broke that Lamar Jackson didn't practice, everything in Baltimore shifted instantly. A knee discomfort sent shockwaves through the team, and now the big question is, will he be ready to face the Browns on Sunday? The problem is, whenever Lamar feels something, anything, the whole team holds its breath, and this time, the timing couldn't be worse. What's even more concerning is that this might be more than just a mispractice. Something's clearly off with the protection, and it feels like the offensive line is leaving the league's most important quarterback completely exposed. Could the Ravens really be putting their entire season at risk just because they can't protect their MVP? Lamar Jackson missing practice was all it took to put the city on edge. The reason was knee pain, and that's enough to raise every red flag when it comes to number 8. John Harbaugh said Lamar is expected to play Sunday against the Browns, but that didn't calm anyone down. When Lamar isn't 100%, the whole team feels it, and the confidence shifts instantly, and the fear is justified. Lamar has already missed 3 games this season with a hamstring injury, and his absence showed just how dependent the Ravens are on him. He's a guy who controls the tempo, who turns broken plays into magic, and when he's limited physically, the entire offense loses its spark. That's why every sign of pain feels like the start of another nightmare. On top of that, the wear and tear have been impossible to ignore. Every week, Lamar is facing more pressure, taking more hits, and getting less protection than he should. The issue isn't just the knee, it's the accumulation of its piling up week after week. He's constantly running, improvising, escaping, and doing all that while hurt only increases the risk of something much worse. And what's most alarming is that this didn't come out of nowhere. There's a clear reason behind all these hits. The Ravens' offensive line has been failing to protect their quarterback. And as long as they keep allowing this kind of pressure, the knee injury might just be the beginning. With each passing game, it's becoming more obvious the Ravens' offensive line just isn't holding up. Lamar Jackson has been pressured on 40% of his dropbacks, a huge number, and way worse than last season. It shows how much stability this offense has lost and how the pocket protection has become a real problem. Even with Lamar's mobility and talent, no one can thrive under that much pressure. During last week's game against the Vikings, that problem was crystal clear. Lamar was pressured 13 times and hit 3, meaning Minnesota practically lived in the Ravens' backfield. Those numbers aren't just cold stats. They're proof that the offensive line is forcing their franchise quarterback to play in constant danger. And that kind of punishment always comes with a cost. The most frustrating part? This group actually has some talent. Tyler Linderbaum keeps playing a high level, and when Ronnie Stanley is healthy, he's one of the most reliable tackles in the league. The problem lies on the edges and with the guards, who've been inconsistent both in pass protection and in the run game. There's talent on that line, but no stability, and that's what's killing the team's offensive rhythm. And with their next matchup coming against one of the most dangerous pass rushes in the NFL, the concern is only growing. Cleveland's defense can turn even the smallest mistake into a disaster, and that's exactly why Myles Garrett's name keeps echoing louder every week. If there's one player the Ravens didn't want to see across from them right now, it's Myles Garrett. The Browns' pass rusher is having a dominant season, putting up numbers that intimidate any offensive line. He has just 1 fewer sack than the entire Ravens defense combined, a stat that shows how capable he is of taking over a game by himself. And now, he's going up against a quarterback who isn't at full strength. Garrett is the kind of player who changes how an offense has to play. He forces teams to adjust their blocking schemes, double him, rush decisions, and basically create chaos in the pocket. And if Baltimore's line can't contain him, Lamar will spend Sunday running for his life. Even a small miscommunication or bad angle could be enough for Garrett to turn a play into a game-changing sack. And while Cleveland's record doesn't look great, their pass rush tells a different story. They attack with power, rotate well, and know how to exploit weaknesses, especially against uncertain guards like Daniel Falele and Andrew Voorhees. That combination of a banged-up Lamar and an unstable offensive line is exactly the kind of setup Myles Garrett loves to feast on. If the Ravens want to avoid another scare with their quarterback, they'll have to find solutions from within their own line. But here's the problem. Right now, even the backups don't look ready to change anything.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video. But before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
John Harbaugh's dilemma is getting tougher by the week. Fans have already lost patience with Daniel Falale and Andrew Voorhees, especially after that awful showing against the Vikings. But even with all the pressure to make changes, the coach knows the guys behind him don't inspire much confidence either. Emory Jones Jr., Corey Bullock, and Ben Cleveland still haven't proven they can be real answers. It's the kind of situation that puts a coach in a no-win spot. Keep the starters and the team stays vulnerable. Switch them out, and things might get worse. Offensive lines depend on chemistry and trust, and making changes halfway through season is always risky. Harbaugh looks stuck in a loop where every move has a steep price. The worst part? Time is running out. The Ravens are entering a crucial stretch where every game matters in the playoff race. One mistake now could cost not just a win, but also Lamar's health. The coach needs to act carefully but with urgency, and balancing those two things is never easy. This lack of stability up front only reinforces what everyone's been seeing all along. As long as Lamar doesn't have a solid wall in front of him, no offensive plan will truly work. Baltimore still has reasons to believe. They're in a playoff fight, and even with their ups and downs, Lamar Jackson's talent remains the X factor. He's one of the winningest quarterbacks in the league, and the roster is still good enough to compete with anyone. But all that depends on one simple thing: keeping number 8 healthy. The defense has improved a lot since Alohi Gilman arrived. The unit feels more balanced, and the team's shown resilience. But none of that matters if the offense can't function. When Lamar spends the entire game under pressure, the attack stalls, the game plan collapses, and the team starts relying on individual miracles. That's a dangerous formula, especially in such a competitive conference. The Ravens' biggest threat might not even be their opponents. It's their own offensive line. They have an elite quarterback, a proven coach, and a roster built to contend. But if protection keeps breaking down, the entire structure could crumble fast. Baltimore's been here before, and they know exactly how that story ends. The hope is that they can fix it before it's too late. Because if Lamar keeps taking these hits, what looks like a small scare today could turn into a problem that derails their entire season. Lamar's missed practice might have been just a precaution, but the message couldn't be clearer. The Ravens are walking a very thin line. The team still has talent, a strong defense, and a real playoff shot. But everything depends on their quarterback's health. And if he keeps playing under this kind of pressure, every snap will feel like an unnecessary risk. Now, the big question: will the defensive line step up in time to protect their most valuable player, or will Baltimore watch their season slip away because of the same mistakes all over again? One thing's for sure: as long as Lamar's on the field, there's hope. But if he goes down, the whole plan might fall apart with him.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.